Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, I'm at the local park and this is another video. I just filmed one before this. Flying some drones today. The park is a beautiful place to fly this time of the year. It's really pleasant in the mid 60s. There's a decent breeze through here at times, but it's not too bad. We should be able to fly these drones. What I'm going to be flying today is this new little drone from Bezgar. This is the BD102. Now this is a brushless drone. It's very small. It weighs about 150 grams, so there's no concern with remote ID or FAA regulations with this, but it is powered only off of a 1S LiPo, which is a bit unusual. Usually these brushless drones will be at least 2S. 1S you usually see in a little bitty, micro, the whoops and stuff. So, this looks like it'd be a really good sport flyer. Looks like it ought to be pretty quick, but I know I flew at my front yard yesterday as a little bit of practice, and it actually is rather slow. So even in the highest rate, it's got 3 speed rates, it's not very quick because it has optical flow position home with this camera right here. So even though it doesn't have GPS, it's always looking at the ground, trying to hold position. So to make that work, the drone can't be very fast. So it seems to have a bit of an identity crisis. The drone doesn't really know. It looks like it's a sport flyer, but it's really more of a camera drone. But it doesn't have a gimbal. It just has this camera right here in the front. You have to manually tilt this the way you want it. So I'd put it just a hair upwards, but it doesn't have tons of pitch since it's not very fast. So it doesn't need to be aimed at too much. So if you want to, because lots of times you do that so you don't film the ground whenever they fly forward. And this records at 1080p at 25 frames per second. So, it seems like a decent flyer, and it has some really cool LED lights, which I'll show you here. They're not going to be solid. They'll be flashing since I don't have it bound with the controller. But I don't know how well that's going to show up here since it's daytime. We can hear the ESCs singing there with the brushless motors. You got blue in the rear and green in the front. So hopefully that's visible to you guys, but it's like I said, it's daytime. It's not gonna be nearly as visible as it will be in like late evening. And they give you 2 of these 1S LiPo packs. I can't see the, actually I think it is on the side here. It's 1000 milliamp hour. So this is actually a smaller battery than the battery that was in the other drone I just reviewed, the E88 Pro toy drone. It's like 16 bucks. So being brushless motors with this just a smaller 1S LiPo, I wouldn't expect this to have a great flight time. But yeah, you get 2 of these batteries. You get your phone clip holder, which you're going to put this onto the controller. You get some spare props and a Phillips screwdriver. You do get I think they call these a micro low-C connector on these. So the USB to charge the batteries, they just plug in right up in here like this, and plug it into your USB outlet and charge it up. And then here is your controller. This is a really small controller, but it is labeled. So you've got like your auto takeoff and landing here, your light control. So you can turn those lights off during the day. That'll save a tiny bit of power, but it's not gonna make a big difference. You got your, I think this is your headless mode, and then you've got your 1-key return, which I would not use. And then your forward, left, right, backwards trim. On the top, you got your speed rates, and there's 3. It was a little windy yesterday. It did seem like the yaw increased a little bit with the rates, and of course you're getting a little bit more pitch. And then this is your 360 flips, I believe. I don't think I was even able to test that. We'll try to get that tested here in the video. So yeah, just a little bitty controller, and that phone clip holder is going to mount up on here for your phone. And the app for this is, I think it was called like the BZR drone. BZR for Bezgar drone. So I'll put a screenshot of that up here so you guys can see what app that is you're going to use to be able to see the FPV feed. All right, that's enough talking. Let's go get this drone up in the air and see how it performs. Okay, I have the Bezgar connected to my controller. As you can see, and hopefully you make this out, I cannot get the camera feed to appear in the app. This is a huge bummer. It worked for me yesterday. I have tried everything. I have killed out the app. I've turned the drone on and off. I am connected to the Bezgar, not any other Wi-Fi. It's staying connected. It will not show the video feed. It worked for me yesterday. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm fed up, and I just want to get the drone up in the air and fly it. I can tell you it was 1080p at 25 frames per second. The video was not very great, but there was no jello wobble or anything like that. But it didn't have great clarity. It was sort of just hazy, like, But unfortunately, I realized this review you know, it's probably not going to be what you are looking for, but I don't know what else I can do. It doesn't work. So let's just go ahead and take it up and we'll just fly it around and see how it flies. You guys can see that it's not super fast. So I'm going to put it into the highest rate and let's just give it throttle and you can take off. Now you can see it kind of tilting. The optical flow is looking down at the ground. It's trying to hold position. Keep in mind, optical flow doesn't work well when you're super close to the ground or if you're too high up off the ground. It needs to be, you know, 10, 20 feet usually. It can be maybe a little higher than that. So you can see that's as sporty as it gets. That's not super fast. It's not horrible, but for brushless motors, you would kind of like it to be a little bit faster than that. Like I said, it's only a 1S LiPo, so that's part of the reason. Combined with the optical flow, that optical flow is constantly trying to hold position, and that's why they make this thing not so fast. Because if it's really fast, you're not going to be able to, you know, the optical flow won't work at all. Yeah, like I said, this is, you know, since it's not super fast, this would be a decent backyard flyer. It just doesn't, the camera, and I know you guys can't see it, but like I said, I did use it yesterday, and it's just not ideal for this. Everything right down to the location, with it being up on the top of the nose of the craft and not lower below the motors. It's a weird design, and I really thought this would be a sport drone. Ideally, I would like to see this on a 2S LiPo with this design and with no camera. No cameras at all. No front camera, no optical flow camera, because the brushless motors is a nice touch, and Bezgar makes good stuff, so I'm not trying to necessarily rip Bezgar apart because, you know, they've been really good to me, and I really like their RC cars. I think they're just starting to, you know, get their feet wet here with these drones, so hopefully they can take some feedback, because I don't know, just, you know, lots of times these, like Bezgar rebrands some good cars. I don't know who makes this, like if this is unique to Bezgar. As far as I know it is. I've not seen this drone before. It does, but it has a bit of a Hubsan type look to it, like some of the old Hubsans kind of has that look, but honestly I have no idea. But yeah, I'd like to see a 2S on this with no cameras, no optical flow, no GPS, so we can just fly this around really fast. More like a Bugs 3, like, you know, to fly it quickly, and those are, you know, bigger than this. Being this is under 250 grams, this would be a great sport flyer without, you know, optical flow. Even if they kept the 1S LiPo, I think it might be okay at this weight still, if you just take the optical flow off. Now obviously if they really want the camera, we've got to figure out why it's not working. Why did it work for me yesterday on the same phone and today it doesn't work at all? I did absolutely nothing different. And I tried and tried, spent 10 to 15 minutes trying to get this thing to connect. And I did everything except for reinstall the app, which you shouldn't have to reinstall an app. I just installed it yesterday. I mean, not a bad flyer, but you really need its highest rate because it's not super fast. Yesterday there was much more wind and it was a real struggle. I just had to land it because they just couldn't handle it, even with the brushless motors. Today it's doing a little better because the wind's calmer at times. We can go to the lowest rate here since the wind's let up. Let's go to, there's the lowest rate. Y'all still pretty decent. Boy, I gotta go back up because I don't want it to get blowing those trees. That's the middle rate. And then here's the highest rate. Just a little more pitch. Like I said, the yaw I think is a little bit faster. But the yaw is decent on the lowest rate, which is nice. You don't want to, when it's super slow, it's just hard to turn. But it, you know, slower yaw is better for filming. But again, this is not really ideal for that. So yeah, I know some of you guys are gonna probably be mad and you'll probably get thumbs down because there's no video, but honestly, I don't know what else to tell you. There's nothing I can do about it. Now, let's see if we can do some 360 flips here. Try that out before the battery gets too low. Yeah, in a brushless motors, you expect this to have pretty good, you know, do pretty good 360 flips. Let's see if we can go forward. Yeah, so it flips in every direction. Stumbled a little bit there. Let's do it backwards. That was fine. Let's try that forward one again and see if that still stumbles. Yeah, forward kind of wobbles down. It could be just the design. You know, it has, the X is not perfect, you know, in terms of its pattern, its form, and the camera and stuff in the front. It just seemed like, you can see it, it kind of wobbles and drops a little more. Let's go left. Yeah, it's a little cleaner. Left, right a little bit there. Let's go backwards again and try that. Boy, when you go backwards on this drone, there's not much pitch. That did a wobble too, so it seems to flip better left and right than it does forward and backwards. And that's not uncommon with these kind of with these drones of this size. All right, I think that should be enough since we're just flying circles here. Again, I apologize for no video, but I don't know what to tell you guys. It doesn't work with my phone, and it's frustrating, but that's what happens when you fly these toys. And this is still a toy. They just don't always cooperate. I will certainly let Bezgar know. They're very responsive. And let them know you know, this thing worked the first time home, but I'm gonna do a landing here. Trying to land it. I hit land, I think. There we go. It's, whoa. I don't know what's going on. There we go. It finally landed itself. And I could see, even though it wasn't giving me low voltage, reading 1S LiPo, only 1,000 milliamp, I could feel the loss of power. And you could see it was getting lower to the ground, because it does have altitude hold. You always know that. I don't hardly mention that anymore because almost every drone you buy now has altitude hold, which is fine, but that also takes away the sport aspect. So honestly, I would like to see this drone with a 2S LiPo, no optical flow, no camera, and even if you want, take away the altitude hold. That'd make it even sportier, because you can really rise and descend much faster. All right, guys, that wraps up this video. Oh, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're mad there's no video and you're gonna blame it on me, then give me a thumbs down. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this content. Click the bell that way you're notified when I upload new videos like this. As always, guys, have a great day. The power of the dark side.